Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Thursday, February the 17th. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. Price, Part 10. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. And as always, make sure your risk management is employed or deployed. Don't lose any more than you're willing to lose on any one particular trade. So looking at the monthly, you can see we put in a new monthly high. We're 14 pips off that high, 187 pips above the open and 196 above the low. And we drill down to the weekly. You can see we are still in the upper wick zone from the previous week. All the weekly open gaps have filled. And we are 7.3 pips off the high. Notice yesterday I was doing some coding, and what I've done is a lot of the indicators is if it's 10 or less, I go and show 1 decimal point. Very interesting trade here, if you can see it. This is the opening range for the week. You see we dipped in and then we came rocketing out up through the previous day's high. So if you took that break of Monday's high, or if you took the break of yesterday's high, you're sitting pretty nice. Once again, simple horizontal line trades. 103 pips above the yearly open. Notice here, we had one close below the yearly open there. Then we had one right here, and of course, but since it pushed and closed above, I'm sorry, that's open below. Since we've been closing above, we just had that one close below 3 days ago. Just something to keep note of. We are in the area of the weekly inside bar from 4 weeks ago once again. And you can see here a lot of blue and gray inside bar action across many pairs. We have 3 pairs over 100 pips or 100 and better in range. Got 82 pips on the pound. So respectable day for the pound. Oh, whoops. It's like I missed one. Buy zone. There's a couple of early triggers or triggers earlier in the day. There's a nice short trigger there, another short, couple of long triggers here, and that last long paid off. That's funny. I was talking to Walmall, and I was saying that I gave back a bunch of pips today. In fact, that trade went from a winner to a loser, which is something I implore you guys not to do. But he had said that I have to decide what type of trader I want it to be. Do I want to go in and scalp for a couple of pips, or do I want to try and run the big one? Because I kept thinking, once again, something that I shouldn't do, is that the price wanted to go back down to the double O. And so I got short at 10. And as you can see, I'm about 26 pips wrong right there. Of course, there's ways to trade my way out of it. In fact, I had a couple opportunities to trade my way out of it. I even had an opportunity to put a hedge on it if I wanted to keep that trade for whatever strange reason, and then just lock it in maybe with a 1 pip loss, and then whichever way the market moved, I could trade again. But I know there's some traders want me to show you all those different methods of getting yourself out of a jam. The problem is, if the market moves against you, you get yourself in an even bigger jam. So that's why I hesitate. Price is in the upper rat zone at the moment. smart rat indicating right here. So as you can see here, the smart rat has much tighter zones because the range lately has been compressed, but we do have 82 today, which is plenty of range. We took out the daily pivot, and let's see, it said near pivot point bias is long, and that definitely proved to be true. We've already exceeded R1, so we're heading, looks like there's R2 sitting there. And this is interesting. Let's look at the month. Took out the monthly, took out the weekly, and we took out the daily. So we still have a open pivot here, 34.30 from February the 1st, and we still have one from January 17, 2022. So 2 open pivots this year, 2 from last year, and 1, 2, 6 from 2020. In and out of that upper wick zone. For those of you who like candle patterns, had a trader was asking how to use the dashboard to show engulfing. And the funny thing is, I didn't have it in there, so I updated the dashboard to show engulfing. So after we test it for a couple days, for those of you who have it, I will have to send out that update. Oh, simple scalper, higher, low, lower, high. So here's the higher low. Right here, you see price came up, put in a new 3-ball. You take the short, as you can see here, you'd be up a few pips. You could have taken your pips, some pips here. Price came back, gave you a second opportunity. See the 1-ball. And one of the things I used to do, I'd see a 1-ball. If I was in profit, I would get out. And then a lot of times that would happen where it would give me money or I would leave money on the table and I'd get upset, but that's just trading. And you have to learn not to worry about what happened. You just have to say, well, you know what, maybe I'll get it the next time. But you see here we got a nice big return bar here on M1, and then price once again just turned right back around. And we've been talking about price, and we talk about keeping it simple. And somebody was saying or asking about that method. I said, wall mall is about as simple as it can get. You see, we had a long trigger here. Something's weird here. Let me switch time frames for a second. Go back to 1 hour. Okay, refreshed. So we had a long trigger here at the 20. And that was it. You see it barely came down. It actually got to 10.2, but 10 is the trigger, so you don't want to jump the gun. So you didn't have a short trade. And a lot of traders have trouble not jumping the gun. Sometimes I'm guilty of that too. That's why robots sometimes are better, or EAs, whatever you want to call them, automated trading programs. Now, you can see here, there was a short being screamed right here when it was in the ATR zone. It was just screaming to go short. And looking at these opening ranges for the hour, Here's the hourly open. There's the, looks like I have to turn something off here. This is a new indicator, so I'm still working on it. Show all false. And what this does is sometimes, M1 and M5 or M15, they'll have the same levels. So you can either show them all, that way you get to see the overlap, or you can turn some of them off. And then that way your chart will be kind of clean looking. So you're right back down to that M1 high. It's pushing down, it looks like. And we'll just see what happens from there. But see, there was a nice return bar right there. And then price came back to the M1 high from the first M1 candle of the hour and then reversed. And you can look here at the price. You can see between the M15 high and M30 high for this hour. You can see how it ranged. Then you look at the M15 down to the M1. You can see some of that. And right here, how it oscillated here and swung down and swung back up. But that's just kind of watching the price action, seeing how many closes above or below the current. Sometimes helps you. You can always switch to higher time frames. And you can see we've only had one close above the current level here. If you like to switch, you can switch down. M30, we had 2. M15, we had 4. So you pick a time frame and stick with it. Stick with your method. And you can see we're only 1.5 pips away from the open, the H1 open there, the hourly open. So this action right here could have been a blow off top, because you can see there's a huge return bar here on the M15. And what Walter Walmall and I call return bars is just basically just big bars. So for example, this was a return bar, and you can see price, return to the open. You had another big return bar here, another big one there. But as you can see, there's this big return bar right here screaming. So about 135.80, let's call it, if you want to be exact. Open 135.80. So those of you who sometimes want to target something, this would be the target. The price should get there. It might take it a day, might take it a couple of days, might not ever get there. But that's trading. You just have to put your trade on and see what happens. And we just cleared that return bar, or return to that one. So a lot of times, if you get in a trade and it goes against you, rather than do anything, and if you're not using a stop, or you're letting it go past your mental stop, you don't have a hard stop on, sometimes sitting on your hands will work. Just wait for it to come back. Because on a push like there, it means there's probably more buyers here, so you got to come back so they can get their fill. So anyway, traders, I hope you've had a profitable day and profitable for the week so far. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. I've done a couple of little programming projects, gratis for people that have asked for some changes. So they caught me at the right time when I was coding. So if you have any of those, let me know. And maybe the next coding session, I can make those changes for you. But always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. And this is TheRumpledOne, over and out.